Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shadowwraith, and today we're going to be talking about how to beat Ossiarch Bonereapers. More specifically, how I did. I will go over how you can as well. This video is aimed at people who do struggle against Ossiarch Bonereapers. Not everyone does. People know their armies and can get around the new armies that come out. That's absolutely fine. Good on you. But this is for the people that are struggling, and I know there are people out there that are. So, I'll quickly go over the list I use. This is kind of an update to my previous video on Age of Sigmar, and it just goes over how my list did in this game. So, what I had was 2 Doom Balls. One of them had the a relic axe from the Malign Sorceries book called the Gear Strike Axe. It's basically a +1/+1 axe, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Fantastic. I'm now on 2s and 2s with my Doom Ball. Second Doom Ball was literally just there to give Slaughterer's Call to someone, allowing them to have +1 wound to wound, which is pretty tasty. On that, I had 2 units of 3 Bulgors, because Bulgors are awesome, in my opinion, and 1 unit of 6, all with full command, you know, banner, musician, champion, all that good stuff. Along with them, I did bring a Gorgon, because he's big, scary, can soak up damage on the way in. Yeah, I just like the model as well. That kind of had a factor of me bringing him onto the table. And then a Sigmar, because I needed a bit of anti-magic, something to dispel, and he brings 2 dispels, which is pretty tasty. And he can also throw his rock and get to reroll to hit against any wizards. This is a list I'm going to bring into a tournament, so I wanted it to be an all-rounder, deal with all kind of cases. My main road stop, though, is the Ossiarch Bonereapers, because, yeah, they're strong. It's fine. They're strong. It's fine. I like the challenge. Along with that, I brought them as part of the Blaze of Khorne book. And with that, I had a Blood Secretor, because, come on, Blaze of Khorne, need a Blood Secretor. 3-up armor save, and you've got your banner. I mean, everyone has to be wholly within, and get what +1 attack. That is so Khorne. Fantastic. I need all the attacks I can get. Along with that, I also had a squad of 5 Wrathmongers. They're okay in combat. Pretty decent. Okay when they die, dishing out D3 mortal wounds potentially. 1 if you don't roll a 6. But it's more for the aura ability they have, which I believe is 8 inches wholly within. You get +1 attack. It's a theme to my list. So, standard unit of Bulgors. Each Bulgor is chucking out 4 attacks. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Along with them, I have got my dedicated blood type points, i.e. 3 squads of 10 Reavers, Blood Reavers. Yeah, they'll literally maybe grab an objective, but get some blood type points, maybe shield. Yeah, just some chaff, I'd spare points. Along with that, 2 Slaughter Priests. Right. Originally in my list, I had the Wrath Axe as the Endless Prayer for Khorne. I did change my mind after having a couple of chats with some people. They said, you should try the 2 Skulls. They're amazing. Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Any wizard within 12 inches at a -2 to their cast roll. Fantastic. I'm all about that. Additionally, if they roll an 8, a natural 8, so modifiers don't count, they suffer D6 mortal wounds. Awesome. But in addition, they no longer know that spell. And it's not just that wizard that suffers D6 mortal wounds, it's every wizard within 12 inches. That's pretty tasty. And it did come up in this game, which I'm very happy with. With the prayer I picked for my other Slaughter Priest was Killing Frenzy. So that's a +1 to hit for a unit, which is fantastic. Awesome, because my cows hit on 4s, which is pretty pants, got to admit. It's fine, because hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, because they are part of the Brass Despoilers War Scroll Battalion, which gives them all re-roll 1s to hit in close combat, as long as they are wholly within 8 of another unit in the same War Scroll Battalion, which they are mostly. In addition, once per game, they can unleash their bestial fury, and they can reroll all failed hits and all failed wounds for that turn only, which is amazing. If you can pick that at the right moment, it can make or break a game. Absolutely. Which it did. So, all that together, I had a pretty killy force. Of course, I had the Skull Altar, because it comes with the Blades of Khorne. So, yeah, the Skull Altar is pretty tasty for the prayers. Straight away, I managed to get my Endless Prayer off. The Hexgorger Skulls. And chuck it right in my opponent's face. -2 to his casting. He did bring Catacross and the Petrifax Elite list, so his whole army had a +1 armor save. It's pretty disgusting. But hey ho, never mind. I don't care about armor saves. On top of that, he had 2 spellcasters, and on his first spell, he rolled a natural 8. Spell didn't go off. He forgot that spell, which was Empower Nandrite Weapons. That's a pretty big spell to lose. That lets his hit dice explode on 5s and 6s rather than 6 to generate an extra attack. And they all took D6 mortal wounds. And I killed one of them, who was in range, and the other one was down to like a wound. Fantastic. Good start. He shuffled forward, trying to grab the objectives. We had 1 on either side of the table. I'm not sure what scenario that is. Still kind of new to this game. Hey ho. Grab the objectives, aim at the game. Easy. Right, my turn. Sigmar straight up, threw a rock straight at that spellcaster, hit him because he gets a reroll. I got lucky there. And he only had to do 2 wounds on the d6. It was -2. Rend. D6 damage. Boom. 2 spellcasters down. And then I did get stuck in. Basically, I managed to kill enough in the first turn that I had wiped a couple of his Mortek Guard units with my my Bulgors, my 2 units of 3. Catacross then came in, got stuck into them, and he got jumped on by the squad of 6 because I managed to double turn him on the next turn. So he took a bit of damage, and then I jumped onto him. Yeah, I did pop my ability because everyone was in combat, so everyone was rerolling to hit, rerolling to wound. So let me just put it this way. My squad of 6 Bulgors all had 4 attacks. They were all hitting on 3s, rerolling, and they're all wounding on 2s because I buffed them with Slaughter is Cool from my Doom Bull. Rerolling, -2, rend, 3 damage a swing. Any 6s, mind you, that I do on the to wound rolls is an additional mortal wound. Yeah. He got one-shotted. Bye-bye, Catacross. That was... yeah. Anyway, the game fell apart from that point for my opponent, and I just mopped him up. It was fantastic. My Gorgon didn't really do much. Sigmar was an MVP with a snipe. Happy days. Took the objectives. He didn't have much of an army left. Lost his leadership. Cool. Yeah. So, this just brings up, because this is my first major win against Ossiarch Bonereapers. This just brings up the fact that I think I know how you beat them, especially if you're quite new, because they seem to have all the gear, everything, super versatile in my opinion. Some people say they're slow. Well, you get a once per game ability using your relentless discipline points, which are basically 3 command points you get every turn, and my opponent ends up with like 5 around that mark, like minimum. He can get more if he wants. So it's like having 5 free command points each turn, and you don't even need to be range of a leader to use them because your champion of that unit is the leader, counts as the leader. Right. Yeah. So, not to forget the Gorgon. I found this out. Right, if you get the Gorgon in, and he's got a Swallow Whole ability, similar to the Star Drake, if you charge correctly and put his champion of his unit near your Gorgon, you can just swallow him whole straight away, and then he can't use his relentless discipline points on that unit unless they're close to a leader. Yeah, that's pretty tasty. I'm happy with that. Literally, for the Gorgon, it was pretty tasty. So what you're looking for in an army, if you need to beat Ossiarch Bonereapers, you need high rend, if you can, or ignore armor save, so mortal wounds, and you need to be able to do enough to wipe a unit. Not one squad wipe a unit, maybe a couple, because they can heal at a ridiculous rate. They can be super tough, right? Especially if they got the Gothazar Harvester, which is the big guy with either Soul Cleaver sickles or the big bludgeoning things. They can bring guys back on a 4+ as they die. So if you see him, you kind of want to one-shot him straight away if he's near a big squad of Mortec Guard, especially if they got +1 to their armor save. They're going to be pretty hard to get rid of. Yeah, so I'm looking at things like Skaven. If you play Skaven, you can quite happily mortal wound them off the board or shoot them off the board, especially if you target them. Or even the new Tzeentch army, the Disciples of Tzeentch. Flamers are pretty nasty. Yeah, they're really nasty. Dish out a lot of damage, and they're quite capable of wiping out units. That's the key. It's kind of the key to all death, but especially with Ossiarch Bonereapers, because they're really tough as well, and they can come back like crazy. You want to be able to wipe units off the board a turn, at least 1 or 2. Aim for things like the Harvester first, and if you can, try and get rid of their heroes, because without their heroes they absolutely crumble. Because they can play every other game, they can play the objective game, they can outlast you. If you charge in like a nutcase everything into the front line, it's not going to go down well. See, I kind of went for a flank denial maneuver, so I basically one side, I went for one heavy flank full of Bulgors and all the buffing, deaths, like stuff to make him a Death Star, basically, and wiped out one flank, which managed to get behind. And then he had things on the other side of the board. Sure, I gave up an objective, but I saw it was better than spreading my army thin. Yeah, so the key to beating Ossiarch Bonereapers is to be able to wipe a squad pretty reliably in one go, in one turn. Even if you commit several units into it, a couple of units per one of theirs. And along with that, yeah, aim for their leadership. So you want to be able to, or if you are a combat army, you want to be able to get in there. Because I know Gotrek does quite well. I mean, he can be, hindered by them, especially if they've got their terrain piece on a 4+, your half run, half move, half charge thing, which is a pain. I think it's the terrain piece or it's Catacross who does it. It's one of the two. But I mean, once you get him in, he can kill for days. Absolutely. So yeah, I think there's most armies have a heavy hitting unit in it. Cities of Sigmar, I've got my Phoenixes that can do it. So they go in, do a sweeping dive, and it's 5 mortal wounds per Phoenix I chuck in. So I can. I've only got 3 of them, but still, 15 mortal wounds. Plus I've got Phoenix Guard behind them that can charge anything left. So yeah, that's the main key. You kind of want to be able to focus down units. This is just from my experience as a beginner. If anyone else has got other ideas, absolutely pop them down in the comments. Let us know. Let me know. I want to know these things. That would be really helpful for anyone who does watch this. If they do, it's fine. That's basically what I wanted to cover today in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye.